Hi everyone. So a few of you had requested that I show the Hush Tarot and the Uncommon Tarot. These are decks that I recently purchased and I was talking about them, I believe, in my Mabon into Sew-In kind of autumn themed deck video. So I'm going to show these both to you today in this one video. I'm going to start with the Hush Tarot by Jeremy Hush. This is a 78 card deck. It is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith system, and the really interesting thing about in reading his guidebook, apparently Jeremy, this has been like a lifelong or nearly lifelong goal of his to be able to create a tarot deck, and he uses pen and, or I should say ink, and found objects to create the images that you see in his artwork in general and also in his deck. So I thought that was a really cool thing to note. I also found that there were some really interesting things to find in the guidebook. So the guidebook is worth a read. It's not just a Rider-Waite-Smith kind of basic knockoff. It's actually a guidebook that I would say giving a read through does have value for you, and it may be something that you want to journal about or add to your tarot work. So just as an example, so you can see, it's a little bit better than like a Lo Scarabeo little white book. So you've got a little bit more information, but it's not, you're not overloaded with information in the guidebook here. However, there are some interesting things he brings out for each card. So, and it comes in a really nice tuck box. I think I paid 17 bucks. It was very reasonably priced. It's produced by US Games. The guidebook is 68 pages. So, and the card size is, let me grab, hold on one sec, guys. This is a Rider-Waite-Smith, Pamela Coleman Borderless. It's a little Six of Swords there in case anybody needs that message today. And this is his card size. So, why is that? There we go, guys. So a little bit shorter but fatter, a little bit wider, and I actually really like this width and the size of this. It feels very nice as far as like shuffling like this. Feels really, really nice. So the cardstock is not matte, which you guys know right now, like matte is my favorite cardstock. I'm still definitely in that place of really loving that cardstock feel on the hands, and when you work with cards for a living, it is really nice. The way that the cards feel does make a difference. I will say that honestly. But this isn't too slippery. It's not like a Scarabeo level of slipperiness where the cards are going to go everywhere unless you're very careful. And there is kind of a border, but it's not overwhelming, which is really nice. It's like, I don't know, kind of not. So I enjoy that, and I actually love these card backings. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can get it to focus, but do you see how they're skulls in the scroll work? And then it says Hush Tarot on the top and the bottom, and I really, really like these backings. I'm a huge fan of these backings. They remind me of like old school tarot work, or not tarot, old school tattoo work. So I'm going to show you some of the images so you can get a feel for, this is the Hierophant, for what the deck itself looks like. As I said in that video, I really just bought this on a whim. I did not think about this. I didn't sit on the purchase for a while. It showed up based off of me ordering the Uncommon Tarot, and I have to say that I am really, really, really glad that I purchased this deck. Excuse me, I think it's a wonderful deck, and it's unique, it's different. So here is the moon. It's very animal, kind of woods, forest based. So if you're someone on your spiritual path that really aligns with that type of feel, or the element of earth, or you're wanting to bring forest energy in, I think this is a great deck for that. Now, do I think it's a Fae deck? I don't think it's a straight up Fae deck. It feels more of a nature-based deck to me than the Fae, but I have a very specific experience with the Fae, as I've talked about many times in videos over the years, and so this deck doesn't have quite the feel of, say, the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. Here's 5 of Cups. Isn't that a great one, guys? I think you can tell that Jeremy, whoever he is, and I don't really know anything about him as an artist, but I think there's a lot of love and reverence that you feel in this deck. It does not feel like a phoned-in deck. Reading with it, as I said, for myself primarily, I've had some unique realizations based on the imagery in the cards and the guidebook for my own personal self-work. So it's a deck that kind of takes you by surprise in a really, really good way. Here's our 6 of Swords. I mean, you know, giving you the same feel of, let me just go back here, since apparently somebody needs to know the 6 of Swords is their message today. But here's the traditional imagery for 6 of Swords, and then here's Jeremy's. So, I'm sorry, my hand is covering that up. We're epic failing here today, Racine. Come on. So, yeah, I think he gives the feel of, you know, traditional imagery while bringing something a little bit different to the experience of working with the cards. Here's the 4 of Cups. So I'm going to show you a few more, and then I'm going to go ahead and there's 8 of Wands there. Then I'm going to go ahead and show you my favorites from this. I think that this King of Pentacles is actually one of my favorites. Look at that. Like, I need that as a tattoo. Why isn't it focusing? I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully this will at least give you enough of an idea of if this deck interests you to purchase. But I would say that this deck is really good for working with a deck when you want to sit with the deck and get to know it and spend time with the deck. I mean, I think you could definitely do quick readings. Here's the King of Swords. Isn't that beautiful? I think you could definitely do like a quick read, you know, want to know about something in your life and move on with this deck. Of course you could. You could do that with any deck. But I think this deck would really love to have you spend time with it in a gentle way, not in a kick-ass way like Tarot Vampires or Mary L, who are like, look, you're either going to spend time with me or you're not going to get it. I think that this deck is very much like, would you please spend some time with me? Or if you spent time with me, we could really go somewhere new together that you haven't been to before with tarot. So in that way, I would say, you know, this is a deck that wants to take a long journey with you, maybe in some ways similar to Journey into the Hidden Realms, actually, that tarot deck. And it's just a gentle, loving energy for the most part. It is a little precocious. It's definitely mysterious. But some of you will really love that image right there. But I really, really love it. And as you can see, very much forest, spirit animal, spirit guide focused in that way. And I just want to show you, oh, the Empress is beautiful too, isn't she? And I love this kind of sepia faded tone. It's nice. The Hanged Man is amazeballs. I freaking love this version of the Hanged Man. See how it's like not quite what you would expect, but you get a really powerful message from it, if that makes sense. Queen of Swords is really beautiful too. It's interesting. She almost looks a little more vulnerable than I usually think of the Queen of Swords. 8 of Cups. Of course, has an owl, so I love it, as you guys know, but there's just something else in there. The High Priestess, which is the cover image, is beautiful as well. And I think indicative of the deck as a whole. There's 2 of Swords. And I love this 10 of Cups imagery. This may be one of my personal favorite renditions of the Death card so far in a deck. I just think it's beautiful, it's poignant, it gets the point across, but it's not just a skeleton riding a horse. I think he did a really beautiful job with that. The Fool is lovely as well. And then I just want to find, oh yeah, oh my god, see, like I can show you guys so many. There's 5 of Wands. Here we go. Are you guys ready for this one? I love this one. This Ace of Cups, isn't it beautiful? I mean, I love skulls. So, yeah. And here we go with 9 of Swords, which I'm going to be doing another video on the Nine of Swords in the near future too. Page of Pentacles. The Justice card, kind of depicted a little bit differently than you would think. So, and I'm just going to show, Three of Swords, there we go. I wanted to show that because you guys know I usually like to show the Death card and the Three of Swords. My favorite aspect of this, and hold on. So to date, my favorite way of doing this, I love when the moon and the sun are in mirror reflections of each other. And to date, I just had to go grab this. The Mary L had offered my favorite version of this. So this is the moon with the vulture. And then, let me just see if you can see that. And then there's the sun. You see that imagery there with the reflections. So I love the way that these work together. There's so much meat here and possibility as far as journaling and understanding, again, that reflection aspect that exists within each of us as well. But I have to say, I might like Jeremy's even a little bit better than the Mary L. I don't know. They're definitely tied. But these two are mirror reflections of each other as well. And I freaking love it. Like, I almost want a tattoo of this image. So as you can tell in my meandering time with the the Hush Tarot by Jeremy Hush, I really, really love this deck. And I wanted to show you kind of the juxtaposition that happens with these mirrored images in the moon and the sun. And I think that they provide an opportunity for a lot of personal exploration with tarot, which as the years go by, the more and more that I work with tarot, it really is so much about being a tool, a tool for us on our spiritual path. It's so much more than just getting your cards read. And so I think that these opportunities, like these mirror reflection cards, really give us a chance to explore at an even deeper level what's in the cards and what's within us as well. So that's the Jeremy Hush Tarot. The Hush Tarot by Jeremy Hush. For some reason, I keep wanting to say the Jeremy Hush Tarot. It's not, it's the Hush Tarot. I'm just going to put her back in her box because she is enjoying being in her box, which is, that sounded dirty, but yeah, she's enjoying being in the tuck box and not out. As you guys know, most of my decks like to come out to play. So the Uncommon Tarot, this was a pricey deck. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I paid, $29.95 by Shaheen Miro with commentary by Teresa Reed. And it's very much, so it says, Shaheen breathes fresh life into the traditional tarot, weaving together a melange of people, places, and settings where everyone is invited to tell a more empowered story, a contemporary reimagining of an ancient oracle. And I purchased this, as I said in the review, in the video, the last video I did. I purchased this because I had a reading done, and my card reader used this deck, and I really loved the imagery. It's very different from typical imagery that I'm drawn to. You guys know I like typically darker themed decks or decks with confronting imagery that are very saturated and more kind of have more of a in-your-face feel typically, although the Hush Tarot is very soft and sepia toned, and I really love that. And this deck had the kind of saturation of color, but in a more collage way that felt really very feminine to me, and very inclusive, very feminine. And so I was really drawn to purchase it. It definitely is not cheap. It is an investment deck. It's not high on that investment scale. It's not self-produced level investment, but you definitely are, you're going to pay a little bit more than we sometimes like to, but I do think it's worth it. It's not an investment that I regret. The guidebook is pretty slim. It's 64 pages and very even less information than the Hush Tarot had there, as you can see. But if you've been reading with tarot, or if you have a really great intro to tarot guidebook like Kim Huggins Tarot 101, you're going to be just fine. You're going to find your way to work with this deck. Not every deck needs to have Phantasmagoria included with it. although in my dream world, that would be the case. But I'm going to shut up and show you some of the imagery. So very pretty. It's gilded, gilded edges. I really love that. I love silver gilding. The backing is 2 butterflies. Very soft and feminine. Not my usual thing, but I don't have a lot of decks like these, so it's enjoyable to have 1 or 2. The cardstock leaves, in my opinion, and I don't know that much about cardstock. I know how cardstock feels and how a deck wears over the years. This is not my favorite cardstock at all. And I was a little disappointed in that for $30. I won't lie to you about that. There's a star. But look at the death card. Isn't the death card gorgeous? Yeah. So, but it's very much a deck that can get your creative juices flowing, like say the Muse Tarot or the Dreamkeeper's Tarot. It's got that kind of soft, dreamy feel. It's very kind of avant-garde. Has a little bit of like a film noir feel to it, but it's in color. Really lovely saturation. I love that image. You know, very dreamy, soft, kind of filtered. And I think it's one that accompanies, you know, you might wish to use it for creating a new project in your life, for starting something new. There's the 3 of Wands. For exploring a different side of yourself. This is the King of Wands. I really like this imagery for the King of Wands. I thought that was beautiful. There's the 8 of Cups. Not my... I don't know. 8 of Cups is a very important card to me in tarot, so I like something a little bit different than that, but I understand what he was doing with it. Again, we have a lot of animal imagery, so if you connect with that, here's the Priestess. You may really enjoy that as well. I'm just gonna go through, and I'll tell you, tradition, like card size it's pretty much on par with Rider-Waite-Smith. It's like a little bit bigger and a little bit wider, so that's nice. This is the Magician, by the way, the card I've been showing you. So it's a nice, it's a readable card size for a lot of people. I know for people with smaller hands, like the Mary L is too big, and that will not in any way be too big. There's interesting imagery on the Knight of Cups. I need to kind of sit with that one a little bit. See how that feels. There's the Queen of Cups, which is very lovely. Awakening, or the Judgment card, card number 20, which you guys know. Excuse me, I don't like it when people change the names a great deal, but that's fine. It's understandable. It happens a lot nowadays. I do enjoy this 8 of Swords. I think this is perfect imagery for keeping yourself prisoner. The Hanged one is lovely. Again, a name change there. World is very pretty. 5 of Cups. So it's very unique imagery that I think if, here's the 9 of Coins. Knight of Wands is really pretty. Ace of Cups. It's a nice addition to have to add to your collection. 2 of Swords. That's really pretty. So in that, from that standpoint, it's one that's definitely I'm happy to have as an addition in my deck collection. And I'm going to show you the 3 cards. Well, the Alchemist is very pretty too, Temperance. Yeah, it's a very pretty deck. It's a very soft feeling deck. So the 3 of Cups, I love this imagery. The Wheel was another one that I was like, when it came up in the reading, I was like, oh, Barn Owl. I love the imagery here for the Wheel. I thought the Lovers was really beautiful imagery here. And then I love this rendition of the Tower. It's just absolutely delicious. So, yeah, those were my favorites from the deck. And as I said, it's a very soft, kind of watery, feminine feel. I think if you're looking to birth a new creation in the world, whether that be an artistic project, whatever it is, this would be a nice deck to use to kind of access, your psyche and the unconscious in regards to finishing the creative process, seeing it through to fulfillment. Of the 2, if I had to make a choice about which deck I kept, or if I was only able to buy one of the 2, I would go with the Hush Tarot personally, because I feel like I've already received a great deal from that deck personally on my journey. However, if you're in a position where you can have both, like I was, and am, I should say, I do think that they're both lovely additions to a collection. I can tell you already, I know that I'm going to reach for the Hush Tarot a lot more often than the Uncommon Tarot, but the Uncommon Tarot is nice to have in my collection because it is different than most of the decks that I have. So that's very enjoyable from that perspective. And it is really a lovely deck. I'm in no way saying I'm not down for the Uncommon Tarot. I think it's lovely. I just really enjoy the imagery, and the intention with the Hush Tarot is very palpable. It's very easy to pick up on and to work with. So Hush Tarot, the Uncommon Tarot, you guys asked to see that and what my thoughts were on both of those decks. There you are. I hope you are having a wonderful October. I am sending you, as always, so much love and many blessings. I will see you in the next video.